Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Del Mar. It's a glorious Sunday afternoon, 75 degrees, a little humid, but it doesn't suck out here, does it?
It doesn't. That never does. Good to be with you.
It's good to be with you. Scott Hazelton, if you're not familiar with this face, he's the face of Keeneland, one of the most beautiful tracks in the world. I think this one and that one, you spend half the time here, half there, it sounds like.
That's about the split, yeah. California has been home for now 21 years, but over the last, I think, 6 years, spending about half the year out there in Lexington for the sales and the race meets, and we've got a big sale coming up in here in a few weeks, the Keeneland September sale.
How did you manage this? Everyone's jealous of you now. You're splitting like between two of the greatest places in the country, to be honest.
I've been very, very, very lucky through my lifetime. That's
good stuff.
That's what it is.
Well, let's jump right. We've got an awesome 9-race card, especially in the back half. I like this late pick 5 sequence. Don't know about you, but I really like this. I have some good opinions, I think. We'll find out soon. Juan Hernandez yesterday, 6 winners on the card, and 2 just absolutely gorgeous rides on the turf coming in. So I'll be paying attention to him today. He's going to be coming in hot on the race favorite in race 1. One point of interest I do want to mention, jockey karaoke tonight.
Yes.
Jockey karaoke at the Belly Up. It starts at 8. Hop up on the Del Margaritas here. Head straight over to the Belly Up. You can get tickets on the Del Mar website. You can get them, I believe, at pdjf.org is the correct web address. So hopefully we'll see you guys out there at Jockey Karaoke. Great fundraiser for some great human beings. Dangerous job they've signed on for. They deserve your support. So hopefully we can see you guys out there shortly. All right, let's jump into the opener here, Scott. We got a short field, a field of 5 2-year-olds going 6.5 on the main course.
Yeah, and Balboa, not shockingly, 3 to 5 out of the Bob Baffert barn, ran in that race in which the high-priced 2-year-old that Baffert unleashed, the Grey Colt Brandt, just dominated and put together a massive performance, earning a 101 buyer. I remember talking to Bob right after that race, said that he'll really come on because getting some fitness out of that race.
Okay.
But he's got this inside draw, and one of the things that we have the great pleasure of having access to are the Andy Harrington workout reports here in Southern California. He crushes it.
Yes.
And his workouts reports on Noble Testament, the Constitution colt, who's debuting here for Spendthrift Farm, and Richard Mandela have been very, very positive. He comes from a big-time family. He's by Constitution. This is a half-brother to Ron Bauer, the Michael McCarthy trainee who won the 2021 Preakness Stakes, won the El Camino Real Derby up at Golden Gate Field. So I'm going to go to Noble Testament, slightly better price at 2-1 with those good workouts for Richard Mandela. But underneath, I've got the 1 Balboa for Bob Baffert. So it's 4-1 for me in the opener.
And I did have the 4 on top, but I made a mistake this morning. I crossed it. I thought the 4 was scratched, so shame on me. Not only is he a half to Rombauer, but there's a couple others in here. Alexander Hellos, greatest stakes winner, almost $600,000. Treasure Trove, a debut winner, 14-time winner, made over $500,000. I'm going to side with the 4 now that I know that the 4's in at a little bit of an upset going against Balboa. So I'm with you, 4-1 in the opener. Nothing too clever there for the both of us. All right, race number 2, no show wagering. This is the race where we're going to scratch the 3, Got Soul, and number 4, Muscled. Leaves us with a field of 4 going a mile on the turf course. Yeah,
Lyle the Crocodile, the morning line favorite. He was 3rd in the Oceanside in that race. I'm going to play against him as the likely favorite in here. I'm going to the 5 and the number 6. Geometry to start, the Twirling Candy gelding for Jonathan Thomas and Augustin Stables. Again, to refer to Andy Harrington, his workout reports glowing about this horse's workouts here at Del Mar. He's had 3 consecutive workouts on the turf course. He gets Lasix for the first time. And speaking of Keeneland, last we saw him, he was a 2-year-old at Keeneland in the fall of last year, winning in start 2 of his career, and then shelved for the 10-plus months since then. So Hector Barrios, who is a sensation in turf riding, turf races, he gets the opportunity to ride Geometry. So I'll go to the number 5 on top. And then the 6-horse Mythical Real, Antonio Fresu in the saddle. He didn't run in the Oceanside like Lyle the Crocodile did, but he was 6th behind Freedom's Not Free in the Cinema. This is his first crack against winners in non-stakes company, and I think that we're going to see more of what we saw from him going a couple of starts back. And I don't know that the pace is going to be extremely quick in this race. I think that he's going to be able to be within reach, which will be key for him. But I like Geometry on top in race number 2.
Geometry, I don't know if you watched that replay. Just not a great turf trip. That stalking trip, it's not great. It was a little bit keen early. Frankie, I don't know what he does, but he has a way of getting horses that are a little keen to finish, and he did that, but he was 3 wide through the second turn. So that forwardly placed kind of 2-3 wide trip, it's not great, and he won easily and should move up from 2 to 3. I agree with you there. I did side with Lyle the Crocodile. I just can't get around him. That last trip was just so bad. I thought he was best from here to the Brigantine. The comment in the PP says hopped. He didn't hop. He leapfrogged out of the gate. He lost at least 2 lengths, caught a slow pace in front of him, and almost ran everybody over in the last quarter of a mile to get there. So in slow paces, which I do see coming again today, I do think Geometry will be in front and dangerous. You want to be either in front or on the rail. So there's the potential for both of those with Lyle the Crocodile, but he'll be short. So 5-6 for Mr. Hazelton in the second. All right, let's head on to the Sereno. Can you beat Himika?
I don't see how. I mean, this is a Bauma-owned filly that they have through the years, they buy a select group of horses, and they always seem to pan out. I mean, they have really, really good horses for Bob Baffert. And this filly, daughter of Curlin, they paid $900,000 for just this past April down in Ocala at the OBS sale, and she ran away from him at Santa Anita to win by 6. The filly that she beat just won here yesterday for Bob Baffert.
In a jog.
In an absolute just walkover. So she's going to be a short price favorite, and deservedly so. I can't play against her here. I am intrigued by seeing how Dreaming of Alice turns out here for Phil D'Amato, Agave Racing, and Medallion Racing. It was just a couple of years ago they bought a filly from back east by the name of Vodka with Twist and sent her out here to Phil D'Amato. So this is a group that knows how to find horses and get them out of maiden races and turn them into stakes quality fillies. So I think that there's some upside with Dreaming of Alice, who's going to have to step up her game in order to hang with Himika for Bob Baffert.
I agree with you. I had it 1-2. I won't be playing the race, but if I were to play the race, I would probably single the 1. Exotically, I'd be 1 over 2-3, which is nothing clever. Dream of Alice last time, very professional. Just kind of ran into a box, was in between horses all around, took a ton of kickback, cut to the inside in the stretch, which is not easy to do on debut, and scored nicely. Just ran away and hid. Was bet that day as well. I think they thought a lot of her. Yeah. 9-2 morning line that day. And Moem Downs, second time last out for Peter Miller at Churchill Downs. Ran in a restricted maiden special weight at Churchill. Pressed 4 wide, not a great spot, and then just blitzed this field through the stretch. And wow, the gallop out was like next level. It was probably a furlong ahead of the rest of the horses. So Moem Down can get clear. We'll see what happens out of the gate. I know the first few jumps are going to be dicey for all those people that bet $50,000 to place on Himika. We'll see how the pace shakes out in the Sorrento. All right, fourth race is the beginning of, I wanted to say this is the pick 6. I don't see it in my form.
Pick 6, yeah, starts
it
pick
is 6. The pick 6, $1 variety. We're going 5/8 on the turf for optional 50 claimers.
And this race, I go to Victor Garcia and Rearmed John. This horse broke his maiden for 50 at 34-1, but I think he can blitz this field. He's 4-1 on the morning line. It's a pretty wide open race. We're starting to. This is where the card starts to, turn into the more difficult territory that we're going to have on this Sunday afternoon. But I know it's been a couple of months since he sprung that upset, but he did so nicely, and he ran pretty quickly. 109 flat in this starter optional 50, facing winners for the first time. They were patient with him to get him to the races. He was a 4-year-old gelding when he debuted and sprung that 34-1 upset. So I think he's got the ability to go back-to-back to start off his career, because I think he might be the quickest horse in this race. And for the speed may come from the inside on Jaguar John, but he's never run on turf, and this is shortening up and hung up on that inside post position. I mean, he's got one way of going. It's to the front, but at least we've seen the 4 Rearmed John run well on turf in his only start. And then I go to the outside and the home of the Brave.
In the home of the Brave, yes.
Yeah, the Ohm of the Brave.
The Ohm of the Brave. By Ohm, that makes sense.
These names that are put together, they give me fits. This horse back sprinting, we've seen him do well here at Del Mar in the past. He's got Fresu in the saddle, so he cuts back in distance, which I think would be a positive for him with this outside post position. So I go 4-8 in race number 4.
Okay, this is starting to get a little bit embarrassing. We matched up in the first. I believe we matched up in the... Oh, no, we were different in the second. I have this race 4-8 as well. I actually really liked Rearmed John. You see 34-1. This was not fluky at all.
No.
This horse cleared, Ricky could have taken this horse to the inside. He didn't. He's like, I'm just going to stay right here. He let a horse run up inside of him. They dueled through the turn. Dueling too wide on turf, it's usually a death sentence. This horse just put away the other speed. And like the horse earlier, Hamika, and one other that just galloped out huge, massive gallop out of Rearm John. And Victor Garcia, he tends to target this meet. He was, like you said, patiently handled, sat out the Los Alamitos meet. I think he's going to be faster than Jaguar John. I think he had a little more speed if wanted on debut. I think he's got a real good shot to go wire to wire first time against winners. Then number 8, I've always liked this angle. First time 3-year-old, or he's a second time 3-year-old, but he's been laid off for a while. Just that maturity angle. I'm not a big Beyer speed figure guy. I do use them as a barometer. I've mentioned that before. Ran an 83 Beyer speed figure. Oh, I apologize. As a late 3-year-old, second time 4-year-old today. Will be fresh. I think is fast enough to stay forward, which is a good thing, going 5/8 on turf. All right, well, obviously we're live in the pick 6. We don't need to play the late pick 5.
Okay.
But if we were to miss, which we will not, it does start in race number 5. So we've got maiden special weights, Calabreds, or California sired maidens going 5.5 on the dirt.
And you mentioned the pick 5. I mean, this sequence, I think, really has potential to pay. There are a couple of races that are not very clear-cut. But starting here, leg 1, I go 8 over the number 5 horse, starting with Let It Begin for Carla Gaines. Another one that's been working well, fast gate workout. I know a lot of folks don't maybe like a gate workout right before they are getting ready to run. But for a filly that didn't break all that well on debut, to work 46-1 out of the gate in the way that she did, she's going to be better. The expectation is that she's going to be better here today, leaving the starting gate. Kazushi Kimura jumps in the saddle. Carla Gaines, the trainers, had a good meet. I go Let It Begin today on top in this one at odds of 8-1, at least on the morning line. And then Blame It on Abby, a filly by Blame for Peter Miller, Calbred filly, who didn't take the kickback, whatever it was in that race, but she came on late. So hopefully she can grow up in start 2 of her career as she comes back for a second time this meet. But I do like Let It Begin in a 2-year-old event that I think is not very clear-cut. I think that there's some upside for these horses that have had racing experience. Same again?
We did it again. 8-5. So embarrassing. 8-5 in a wide-open race. I mean, maybe we're just right all day and everyone walks out of here with wheelbarrows of cash, but I do like Let It Begin, and I'll talk about the trip a little bit. What I wrote was belated lunge and subsequent bump costing her 2 lengths at the start. Cautiously guided. I think this one has more speed. Could have blasted off, but didn't. Was cautiously guided through in between spots. Tried to gain with a runner to her outside. That's never good. You've got a lapped-on runner that's trying to put you away. And then just flattened a little bit. So a lot of upside with this one. I thought caught a little bit of money, too, on debut. It was 8-1 morning line. Mild bet down, but for a trainer that doesn't win a whole lot first time out, I think that's a positive. And then Blame It on Abby is absolutely correct. Kickback in between. Like in between the whole time. It was a rough trip on debut. Still came running. Closed the gap to only get beat 1.5 lengths. So that's amazing. We got 8-1 over what is the 3-1 morning line favorite, but still 8-1 shot on top for both of us in the 5th. Well, they're both dead or both alive. So.
Well, we'll see. The 3's an interesting one in there as well. You know, the Ship and Win program for Doug O'Neill, coming in from Wyoming Downs, getting that race under her belt, being a Calbred. Just looking at how these trainers approach the system, right? The Ship and Win system, which has been so great through the years here at Del Mar. I do think that you've got to see how live she is on the tote board in race number 5.
And that's a good point because there's really nothing to go off of. I don't have pace figures, I don't have speed figures. You can't watch a replay at that track, right. So that'll be good to see. I wonder if Mr. Harrington has a workout on August 3rd. Maybe I'll sign up in the last minute and read that. Okay, race number 6. Start of the late pick 4. Take out number 4, Known Idea. Number 10, Golden Sunrise. That leaves us with a field of 10 going 5.5. $10,000 non-winners of 3 lifetime. I actually love a horse in here. If you have this horse. Love. I tend not to use the L word too often. You got to be careful with that. But I think I love Western Avenue, number 11. How about you?
I didn't have the 11 for Georgie P. I mean, this horse, nothing would surprise me in this race. This is where it really, this is the make or break race in the pick 6, the pick 5, and there's even another one later. This is one of a couple.
Pretty wide open.
But this one is so difficult. Western Avenue, what's wrong with him? He's dropping in for 10. A lot of horses are taking drops down in class. I just went to Zombo Bombo because He ran one of the best races, at least recently, and he's got figures and speed figures. I use Brisnet, Brisnet speed figures that are much better than most, but he's inconsistent, and that's the problem that you have with handicapping these kinds of races. So I'm going to the recency. He was 21-1, almost sprung an upset on opening day here at Del Mar. I don't see why he can't win this race in a $10,000 claimer with a lot of horses following him down to 10. So I went there, and then the big Cheezola for Steve Knapp. Just ran in a starter race. He's dropping him in for 10 here today, getting aggressive with the spotting off of that good run here at Del Mar. So I'm leaning on Steve Knapp in race number 6.
Well, if Zombo Bombo wins, I will be losing, sadly, but I'm going to play against the favorite in this race. I've got so much upside here with Western Avenue. I think there's speed signed on, number one. I try to find the horse that I think could potentially work out the best journey. I think Zombo Bombo's got speed, the horse to his outside. Joey Brackets has got to go. Gary John has some speed. The big Cheezola has speed. Honeymoon Sweet has speed. Speed everywhere. This horse is drawn outside. Was washy last time. So I think there's some upside there. I don't know if he does that every time. We'll have to take a look at him in the paddock today. But was washy last time. Wasn't asked for a drop early in this race and moved into the race. I think this horse has some natural speed, but does not need the lead, even though the last win you'll see on paper was wire to wire. I think he can close. I had opening day as an outside bias day. I had him versus the bias, was drawn down inside. Coming out of that same race, again, 4 runners out of that common race on July 18th. Zombo Bombo did draw the outside. I thought had kind of the run of the race with the outside lean, but that was against. And then when Toughness, who was scratched out of this race, backed up in this race, this horse stopped early. It was a Bob Baffert runner that just quit early. This one got shuffled and lost about 3, possibly even more lengths. So ton of upside for Western Avenue, who actually finished up just fine through the lane, even though it doesn't read well on paper. So Western Avenue, for me, 6-1. It's going to make or break my day, I think.
It's going to make or break, I think, a lot of folks' days, this race. I mean, this is a separator-type race, race number 6.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's see. Scott, you had
2-6.
2-6, okay, in the 6th. All right, moving on to race number 7, going 5/8 on the turf. Optional claimers, non-winners of 2 lifetime. Who we got in the 7th, Scott?
I go to Bits Tiger Magic. I mean, this horse is... What's he done wrong lately, or she done wrong lately? She's won 4 in a row. She was second on debut going all the way to back to the springtime of last year. She's won on dirt. She's won on turf. Peter Miller's bringing her back quick into this 2 other than allowance race, which I don't have a problem with whatsoever. She just ran on the 27th of July. Just keep this train rolling. Now, Kazushi Kimura ends up in this race because you've got Silent Law for Bob Baffert getting Juan Hernandez. Juan had been riding the Peter Miller filly. She cuts back in distance. She's interesting at the very least on the cutback. And can Bob Baffert win a second turf sprint this week?
And I apologize. I should have mentioned this. I think we're taking the 1 out of this race.
Oh, the 1 is a scratch?
I believe so.
Double check my Equibase changes here for the afternoon.
Technical difficulties.
I did not have that from my changes
I'm probably
earlier.
wrong. I've been doing it all of me.
This is race number 7. You're right. You are correct. So Silent Law is a scratch.
Okay.
So, yeah, that obviously makes it easier for a lot of these horses in here. But Bits Tiger Magic on top for me. And then Nene Diamond, number 5. Horse that should be rolling late, has run well here in the past. She's been pretty consistent in her turf sprints outside of the hillside run at Santa Anita. Don't worry about her race 2 back. You see the star next to the 6.5. That means a hillside race at Santa Anita. On the left-hand side of your PPs, she's better on the flat, and she's 15-1 on the morning line. I think that she's got upset potential here in race number 7.
When I hear 15-1, all I want to say is yes, please. That'll blow up some big pick 5 and pick 6 tickets. I went in a different direction this race. I do think that the 2 that you used are interesting. I am going to side with number 7, Miss Roberts, for Jeff Mullins, Hector Barrios. An absolute line through last time. This horse missed the start. They dawdled in front of her. It was basically a no-chance trip already, and then got tightened up at the rail, was keyed up, wanted to go, but couldn't just because the pace was so slow. That's not going to happen today. We're going 5/8. It's balls to the wall right out of the gate, so she won't be keyed up at all today, and then just steadied right out of the race. So that last is a line through. Time before that is an eligible potential climbing stick up the class ladder for Miss Roberts. And then I moved inward with Certitude last time, who Hector Barrios takes off to ride Miss Roberts. But Certitude last time was kind of keyed up, too wide all the way around the track, and chasing an honest pace. So I hate that trip. Too wide and following a fast-paced leader on turf is never a good thing, and almost got the job done. Actually opened up in the stretch and got a little bit late. We'll see how she fares sprinting, but the last sprint she showed up on turf, she was victorious over there at Santa Anita. It's going 6 furlongs on the flat. Okay, late double coming in hot. Race number 8, optional state-breds, non-winners of one lifetime. We got we do have a full field of 12 in the 8th.
I'll go to Titanic Thompson for Steve Miotti, the number 8 horse, a grazing colt for Nick Alexander, who's run 2 very credible races in the last few at big numbers. Probably not going to get that today with Juan Hernandez jumping into the saddle. I do think that there's, I don't want to say move forward, just something similar to what we saw from this colt in his last couple of races is probably good enough to handle this group. So it's pretty obvious handicapping looking at his last couple of starts. I know he's broken his maiden on turf, but he's run well on dirt as well. So I've got Titanic Thompson on top in race number 8, and then the horse that'll be just to the outside of him in the starting gate, Devil Among Us for Librado Baraccio, who has had a phenomenal meet here, obviously led by winning the Grade 1 Bing Crosby Stakes a couple of weeks back, but his barn is just simply clicking, and this horse has speed, shows up against Calbred Company, in for the $20,000 tag, having already cleared this level. So you've got to respect horses that are in for a tag when they're in these optional claiming races, meaning they've already won this level. So yep. Devil Among Us coming back a second time this meet. A lot of horses running here this afternoon that are making their second start on the meets. He's my second choice for Librado Baraccio.
I'm with you on Titanic Thompson. That's going to be my top pick. I loved him last time. Broke my heart. That was the only race that day, actually, where they came from off of it, or rather where the leader almost went wire to wire. Everyone else circled that day without a problem. This one opened up in the lane, actually spurted away, and just got barely tired at the end and got tagged. But I think the cutback's going to be key for him as well. Gets that extra 16th to chop right off of this race. Juan Hernandez, like you said, climbs aboard. Minister Shane, for me, is interesting. 6-1, coming out of that same race on July 18th. We've got several common runners coming out of that race. Runkary, Minister Shane, Titanic Thompson, Let Me In, and No More Ding Dongs. I think it was a strong race that day on opening day, and I think the winner does come out of that race. I thought Minister Shane could have been short and actually had a difficult trip down inside and just kind of plodding along, which there's nothing wrong with that. Hadn't been seen in about 15, 16 months. Okay, the finale, maiden $62,500 types, going a mile on the turf course. How are we going to close it out, Scott?
It's another tough race. I thought that this was, we talked about the late pick 5. This is a very difficult race. I did go to Inner Fury for Phil D'Amato and CYBT and the partners, including Michael Nentwig. Horse showed something moving forward last time out at Santa Anita as far as cutting back to a mile and just letting this horse loose. And I think that if Fresu just gets this horse engaged in the race early on and the pace is quick, that he should be right there in the end, or she should be, this 3-year-old filly, as she stays in against 3-year-old fillies and older. There are some older mares in this race, but Inner Fury staying at the mile, I think, can flash some of that speed, that mile speed, which is always deadly in mile races. And then Frog the 8, the Frosted filly, getting more ground to work with here today. She should be part of the pace as well. She's sprinted 6.5 furlongs at Santa Anita on the turf. Daughter of Frosted out of a Tis Now mare. I know we're dealing with maiden $62,500 claimers, and she's in for the $50,000 tag. But still, that pedigree could help her. And if she just can switch off a little bit early on in this race, I think that she can stick around and gather up a piece of it, at least for Michael McCarthy.
I'm huge on trip handicapping. I upgraded both of those horses. And it's interesting. I actually didn't land on either of them. And the only reason why is I kind of thought they might go fast. And both of them are fast. So I wanted to find a closer. I think Without a Pout, shipping in from Churchill Downs for Richie Baltus, has a swing. Was a touch keen last time. Leparoux grabbed this one up, tried to tuck in a little bit. Was a little bit keyed up, and then just wide all the way around the track. Hadn't been seen since February in South Florida. Probably needed the race anyway. Leparoux kind of just gave this disinterested ride through the stretch. It looked like a prep to me. We'll find out at about 6 o'clock p.m., but I think that one has a swing at a big price, and I've really grown fond of Armando Ayuso, who takes the call. 5-1, is that right?
4-1.
4-1. I'm going to hope for a dripped up. How about that? Thanks a lot, Scott. Man, I really appreciate it. It's great seeing you.
Always a pleasure.
We've got 31 minutes to post now before the opener at Del Mar.